Howdy, howdy, everyone. So, you know the Henceforth MV, I'm sure, because I'm guessing all of you watched it. Or the few that somehow didn't. Well, then go watch it right now. I'll link it in the description. But, for those of you who saw me in the credits, yes, I was the primary animator for the Henceforth MV on Daisuke Aoyama's channel that just went up recently. So, I figured I would show you a little bit of what the actual animation was like. The little files and all that stuff. Since I did not record the actual process, I figured I would show it to you now. So, let's get started. Okay, so this right here, right behind me, is the background animation file, right? So, this right here was the actual texture, everything. The original thing looked a bit different, but I had to add in some extra parts, which I'm sure you saw the cloud looking very strange. If you noticed, you noticed. It was kind of hard to miss, but that was because the original texture file only had one half of a cloud and another one half of a cloud over here, but I wanted to make it loop because I originally thought this was going to be a looping animation and it wasn't just going to be like, you know, it slowly passes through the entire thing. By the way, we would have needed this whether it looped or not. But that's the reason why that's a looping parameter right there. Well, a repeating parameter right there. There's the water, which I will zoom in so you can actually see. What I did was I had this one section move. Just this one section. But I figured it would be a nice little touch to make it seem like the water is actually moving. I don't know, it's small, but I was happy with it. I thought it was nice. So yeah, I had to add in some extra parts just to even get it so we could have this cloud thing. Even though it still doesn't look like the best ever, I had to work with what I had. And then I also had to add stuff afterwards, but it's fine. We have the back cloud, which is like that one right here. I wanted that to move as well since that was in the PSD. And then for the up here parameter, that's for the triangles. I wanted those to fade in, but you can't really see it in the music video because of the positioning. But it's fine, it is what it is. And then triangle 1, that segment, because that was all one layer, I wanted that to have some movement, just a nice little swaying back and forth. And then triangle 2, same with that. Just a nice little sway back and forth so it'll have like the illusion of something cool happening. So yeah, that was that. And then if we look at the actual animation file, which I will pull up here. So as you can see, the light2D parameters, keyframes, it's just very slow. It starts at the beginning, and then the water is just continuously moving throughout the whole thing. Every few seconds, that moves, and then let's see, around I think it was the 1 minute mark. I want to say is where the triangles actually appear. Yeah, they're right here. They appear right here over these 2 seconds is where they appear. And then after that, they just start moving. And it looks really cool. So yeah, that was the background animation. For Meiko, this is her PSD and the Light2D Cubism animator. It's very basic because I only wanted the hair to have the swaying animation. That was what Daisuke discussed with me. Just wanted a basic hair moving. So I did that. Nothing else is moving, just the hair. I feel like if I wanted to, I could have made this skirt like have a nice flowy animation too to like make it look like it's kind of moving in the wind. But we just had the hair. It's moving here. It's very simplistic, but I think it still just adds a nice little touch to it. And then this is Daisuke's animation. This was his PSD file. I also had the bangs moving. My PC doesn't like this file as much because it's bigger. But the bangs move. I turned it down to like 0.5 in the actual animation, so it only goes to about here. So it's not as noticeable, but you get the idea. And then of course, there is one other animation which you saw in the final chorus. The wings appear, and they have a nice little idle animation too. Just a little slight move in and out. Okay, moving on to the balloons. I will admit, I got lazy. As you can see, there's definitely not as many parameters as one should have. However, I was being very lazy and I was on a time crunch because I was like, okay, Google Drive is going to take at least a lot of hours to have this upload into there so I can send it. Especially because I had to send it as transparent, right? So it could overlay with everything. And I was right. It took over 24 hours in the end for the 50-second balloon animation. But these are the first balloons that move. Again, initially I thought this was going to be looping, but so that's why these are all repeat parameters. And then there's the foreground ones, which is just these ones right here. Then we have June's. It's literally, that's one of Daisuke's OCs. It's literally just that one. Not as foreground. We have these ones right here. Background, we get those. And then backmost is when like everything starts to move. So yeah, I was unfortunately very lazy when it comes to that one, but what can I say? I wanted to get this done really fast because I was on a time crunch. Like you have no idea. The art was sent in so late. Like it was, oh man, that was something. Having to get all this done within like only, I think it was about 3 days or something like that. But all that matters is I got it done. Thank goodness. The only thing I could not animate was Rin's PSD, and that's because every time I tried, it would crash my computer, which is strange because it was a very small file. And also, when I was able to animate it finally, there was an issue where for some reason, as soon as I would put it in the animation window, her ponytail would just disappear. I manually meshed it. I went and I made sure that like everything was working, everything everywhere else, but for some reason, as soon as I put in the animation window on the timeline, boom, it's just gone. Like straight up, it disappeared. So I may never know what happened there. But we got one of Daisuke's friends, Jing. We got him to animate Rin's thing. And initially when I reached out to him, he thought I was an Indian tech support scammer. I am none of those things except for the tech support part. Okay, let me clarify. I'm only one out of those three things. But yeah, we did get that resolved, thankfully. I really hope you guys enjoyed the Henceforth cover because everyone worked their butts off for that. It was very fun to work on, and it came out absolutely amazing. So I really hope everyone enjoyed it. But this was just a quick look into the behind the scenes. So yeah, I hope you guys got to enjoy seeing some of the art PSDs and the animations. See y'all.